Hello and welcome to instruction 1.7. In this instruction, I want to show you something called KingDraw. It's essentially or exactly the same as what we use ChemDraw, but except it's the free version or the freeware version of ChemDraw, which you can use to draw your chemical structures, all your line structures, orbital diagrams, all those kinds of things, which will aid you in your writing of your reports. So essentially, there's no more excuses for bad-looking reports from now on. So we start by basically just going to the website, which I've given to you in your prep guide, and then you're going to download it for your PC. If you use a MacBook, then there are options there that you can download. If you go to the download page, there's different versions of it. So you can download the iOS version. There's things that you can download for for your phone as well. I just think that the Mac version might be slightly older, or there's a version that's slightly older than the Windows one that might have less functionality, but there's still a version that you will be able to use. Anyway, right. So once you've downloaded it, right, then you go and you just install it. My goodness. Okay, then you just install it. Wherever it went to download, you install it, and you'll see it's very easy. There's nothing to it. It's going to install onto your desktop, and you can open it. Right. So once it's opened or installed, then it should look something like this, and you're just going to say you want to draw something new. Right. The first thing that you can do is you can create you can register, and then some functionalities will become available to you, which I will suggest. But if you don't want to register, it's also fine. You can then all the drawing features, etc., will still be available to you. I'm just not sure exactly which functionalities aren't available. But anyway, normally when you don't want to risk anything, just use your UP address. Anyway, right. So then just to kick it off, let's draw something octahedral. So we draw an octahedral complex, and we want to include some stereochemistry. So basically, you see this is already much easier than Chem Sketch, for example. And we want to let's make this cobalt or whatever. And right, so we have, this probably needs to be something else. What do you want to make this? Let's make this a halide. Chloride. Chloride, chloride, chloride. And you see every time that pops up this little thing, that gives you an option to change the font. I don't think there's many fonts available as of yet, but they continually update. This is a very new software. I've only recently come across it, so they actually update it quite periodically. So currently you only have Arial, Times New Roman, and symbol. Symbol is when you want to use things like if you want a lambda or an alpha, a beta, those kinds of things. But I mean, Arial will suffice for most of you. If you want to use Times New Roman, then you can use Times New Roman. You can extend the bond lengths as such, and then of course you can increase your font size so that your image, your bond or your atom scale with whatever. Right. So you make your thing nice and neat. Okay. Then you can, of course, copy things by selecting them. So you see I have this little drag tool, so you can copy. So Control C and then Control V should give you an option. Well, I say Control C, so we've selected it. So Control C, and you open your Word document, and you say Control V, and there it is in your Word document. And the great feature now is if you double click on this, it opens it up again in KingDraw. So, and then you can edit it in real time. So let's say, for example, you realize, oh my goodness, this shouldn't have been a chlorine. It should have just been a carbon. So I just want to just delete that essentially. That should have been something just like that. Then we just close that again. Basically just close it. So you don't even want to save it because it's in your document and you see it updated the structure immediately. Right, so now there's no more excuses for you to draw things badly in your chemistry or in your reports. Right, so I hope this gives you a nice idea of how to use it. Just something I will suggest, or something you might want to make use of in your endeavors. There are some interesting options here, for example, like things that you don't have to draw out. For example, if you do biochemistry or whatever, then there are amino acids and whatever that you can look at, or some other supramolecular compounds that you can look at. But you can add your own. So if you want to make a template, then you can. So if you just say you add a new template for something that you use, you edit it, you say whatever, you can call it whatever you want to call it, and then you draw your structure. So I've just copied in this one that we've drawn, so because that's like a general octahedral structure. And then generally I would just delete those, just delete the central atom, and then I will just keep that as a template somewhere, and then it's going to be available for me to click. So when I click, then immediately that is available for me there. So if there's something that you see you generally draw a lot of, you just want to make a template of it, then you can quickly make that as well in there. And then the rest of it, you can basically just play around. I mean, you can draw a bunch of line structures. There's some orbitals there somewhere as well. I just need to find them again. I think they're here. Yeah, so you can draw orbital diagrams, so you can show the bonding if you would like. And I mean, there's different rings. Of course, there's different types of bonds. There's reaction arrows. Actually, the reaction arrows are all here. You can even show in your organic chemistry how a reaction takes place. So how the electrons move from one atom to another in a reaction diagram. Right. So, and of course, if you want any of the other elements, then you can always just click them, and once you click there, they will be present. But some of the most common ones are listed here. Like I said, there are a million things here. There's also a 3D option that it will assist you with. If it can, I think there's too much nonsense going on here at the moment. So let's just delete some of it. Let's put the chlorine back. Where's the A? There's the A. Put the chlorine back. And then we go to a 3D model. And it should work. Okay, not sure what's going on. Right. Probably have to investigate, but I mean, that's something you can investigate on your own. It's basically just going to give you a 3D conformer of the structure. Yeah, so enjoy, play around with it. It can also derive names for you sometimes. Just play around. That's the best way to figure this thing out. And it's quite intuitive. I mean, you know sort of what's going on. Right. Okay. I hope this was useful. This was informative. And it will help you draw structures. So I'm really not going to tolerate any weird kind of drawings and things that don't make sense anymore. Okay. So good luck.